What if every single bill you've ever gotten wasn't actually a demand for payment, but something else entirely? Today, we're diving into a really unconventional idea from our source material that kind of flips our whole understanding of money and debt on its head. Now, just a quick heads up, we're simply exploring the concepts presented in the source. This isn't financial or legal advice.
We've all been there, right? An envelope arrives, you open it up, and there it is. That familiar feeling hits you, that little knot of stress in your stomach. You see the amount due, and your brain immediately jumps to, okay, how am I going to pay this?
But what if that bill isn't what we think it is? Our source material throws out this pretty wild question, which you can see right here. Is this actually a demand for money, or is it more like an unused check just sitting there waiting for your signature? Honestly, this one question is the key that unlocks this entire theory. So, to answer that question, the theory we're looking at starts by redefining the very word bill. It suggests that the common term we use every day actually holds a clue to a hidden meaning, one that's crucial in the world of commerce. See, the argument is that bill is just shorthand for a bill of exchange. Now, this isn't just some casual demand for cash. It's a formal, written order. Think of it like a negotiable instrument, like a check. So when a bill shows up in your mailbox, what's really happening, according to this, is something called a presentment. The company is presenting you with this instrument, claiming a debt is owed. But here's the kicker. Is it owed by you? This is where the theory takes a really sharp turn. And that question leads us directly to the next huge concept in this theory, the idea that the name printed on that bill, even though it looks exactly like yours, doesn't actually refer to you, the living, breathing human being. Now, what's so fascinating here is the visual cue, the all-capital letters. The source claims that when your name is written out like this, Jane Marie Smith, it's not you. It's referring to a legal fiction, a corporate entity, sometimes called a straw man. You, the real Jane Marie Smith, are actually separate from it. So you're probably wondering, well, where did this person come from? The theory lays it out like this. It starts at birth. Your mother, acting as an informant, signs a birth certificate. That kicks off a whole chain of paperwork and registration, which ultimately creates a treasury account linked to your social security number. And just like that, a corporate entity is born in your name. And this is exactly why that distinction matters so much. According to this theory, all of these legal and financial actions, they're all aimed at that corporate person, not the private you. You're just positioned as the surety, which is kind of like being the guarantor, the one who backs the debts of this separate legal thing. To really get why a system like this would even be set up in the first place, we have to look at the source's take on a really important moment in financial history, a moment that it claims totally changed what money even means. Okay, first, we need a baseline. The source defines lawful money as what the Constitution recognizes, gold and silver coins. This is presented as real stuff, tangible value you can hold in your hand. According to this theory, 1933 was the year the entire game changed. The source points to something called House Joint Resolution 192 and claims this act basically forced everyone to turn in their gold, making it impossible to pay debts with real lawful money anymore. Well, this created a huge problem, a paradox. If all the real money, the gold, was gone, what were people supposed to use? This quote from the source really nails the dilemma. How can you possibly put out a debt using something that is itself just another form of debt? And this chart breaks down that fundamental shift perfectly. We went from lawful money, which was an asset, a store of value, over to legal tender, like a Federal Reserve note. The source argues this isn't money at all. It's a liability, an IOU. It's just an instrument of debt. So if there's no real money to pay with anymore, where does the value in this new system even come from? Well, the source argues that it comes from the one place it has always come from you. This brings us to probably the most important part of the whole theory. Your signature is what gives an instrument commercial value. The idea is that when you sign something, like a loan application, you are backing it with your own inherent worth, your future energy, your creativity, your potential to produce. And this quote just drives that point home. In a system without lawful money, the source is basically saying that the only way to settle a public debt is to provide your signature and authorize the use of your value. Okay, so we've talked about the what
and the why. Now let's get to the how. Based on all of this, the source lays out a very specific path, not for paying a debt, but for discharging it. First, you have to get your head around these two different jurisdictions. The source really emphasizes that you can't mix the private and the public. You, in your private capacity as a man or woman, act from the private realm upon the public realm. That's the legal world, where the corporate person lives and plays by its own set of rules. And here is the proposed process it lays out. Step 1, you get the bill, the presentment, addressed to your corporate person. Step 2, you act from your private capacity as the one who guarantees it. Step 3, you accept the bill with your signature. And by doing that, you authorize it. And then you return it to the sender to be settled or discharged using the funds from that treasury account set up in your name. So let's just do a super fast recap of the 4 pillars holding this whole theory up. 1, public commerce runs on debt instruments, not real money. 2, your name in all caps? That's a corporate fiction, not you. 3, your signature is the real source of value. And 4, if you understand all this, you can discharge public obligations instead of trying to pay them. You know, in the end, the source material doesn't present this as just some clever financial trick. It frames this whole system as a kind of test, a challenge to take back responsibility. And it leaves us with one last, really deep question that goes way beyond banking. How badly do you want freedom?